Hello and welcome to Barnstable Today. I'm Len Gobeil. The owners of Bow Lane Realty Trust were looking to redivide 4 acres of their land into 2 residential lots on Bow Lane in Barnstable Village. Recently, attorney Liza Cox of Nutter, McClellan and Fish represented the applicants before the Zoning Board of Appeals. Attorney Cox made her opening remarks.
What's existing right now, the subject properties, which were read out in the notice, are located in Barnstable Village, and they're close to the intersection of Route 6A and Hyannis Road, where there's a light, if you're familiar with the site. They're located within the RF2 zoning district, which has a minimum lot size requirement of 1 acre and a minimum frontage requirement of 20 feet. Both the lots are within the AP overlay district, which is, as you know, the least restrictive overlay district within the town. They're not within a Zone 2, not within a wellhead protection area, and they're also not within the resource overlay protection district. The properties have 2 addresses currently. The first one is 1758 Hyannis Road, and it's map 299, parcel 53. Exhibit A to our memorandum included a copy of the assessor's map, and so you can see the parcel. This land, as well as the other land, which I'll describe in a moment, are all registered land. They're land-courted land, so they've been through the land court, and the land court has decreed the boundaries of the property, as well as any encumbrances or pertinences that the properties have. The first lot, 1758 Hyannis Road, was created in 1937 and is shown as Lot B2, which I've highlighted in green on the plan to my left. And that plan is also included as Exhibit B in your memorandum. It's a vacant parcel of land presently, and as indicated on the assessor's information, it contains about 1.24 acres of land and has 220 feet of frontage on Hyannis Road. I'm going to switch plans for just a moment. This lot also contains a wetland on the property, which is shown right in the middle of the lot right here. This is the proposed lot, so the division is slightly different, but this proposed plan shows the location of the wetland as it exists. And I think a brief history of the wetland is important as it relates to the variance requests that are before you. And that also pertains to the first page of the 3-page handout that I just provided you. Originally on this property, there were a couple of drainage ditches that ran through the property, and these drainage ditches went out into the road and towards the harbor, under Route 6A and towards the harbor. The ditches ran into a culvert that was located roughly at the intersection of Route 6A and Hyannis Road. And this culvert, over time, backed up. And as a result of the backing up of the culvert, water started ponding on this property, which created this wetland. And if you look at the letter from the town engineer back from 1975, which I've highlighted to you, you can see that efforts were taken over the years to try and find funding to replace the culvert and replace it with a series of pipes and manholes so that they could find out where that water was being backed up, clean it, and allow the water to flow more freely to the harbor. However, funds were never raised for that purpose. And I've highlighted the pertinent sections of the letter which describe that. And one point I wanted to bring to your particular attention is the last sentence, which I've highlighted. And namely, that is, if the culvert were ever replaced with the pipes and manholes, the town engineer says this would eliminate the ponding of water at Bow Lane. So the wetland that exists there right now is caused by the backup of water under the road within this culvert that's owned by the town, and they're not quite sure where the location of the backup is on the culvert.
Attorney Cox then discussed the plan in further details.
What the proposed reconfiguration is that's before you this evening is to take these lots, which together total about 4.13 acres of land and 3.64 acres of upland, and create 2 lots. One lot which will have the existing homestead and barn on it, and then a vacant lot that will be developable for single-family dwelling purposes. And as you can see on the plan to my left, the shape of the lots are based on the shape of the existing lots that exist right now that are owned by the property. Lot C, proposed Lot C, which is highlighted in pink on the plan to my left, would contain the house, and then proposed Lot D, which is highlighted in orange, would be the vacant lot. Proposed Lot D meets all zoning requirements. It contains 1.99 acres of land, of which 1.92 are upland. It has 32 feet of frontage on Bow Lane, so no zoning relief is required for future development on that lot. There would be, however, other permitting that would be required when a development proposal came forward, which would include Old Kings Highway, Conservation Commission, and potentially Board of Health. There is relief being sought for this lot, and that relief, as indicated in the notice, is from the contiguous upland requirement, from the lot shape factor requirement, and for a setback from the existing barn to proposed Lot D. And let me walk you through the variance criteria as it relates to the property. First is the showing of unique conditions, and those exist in this case. Specifically, there are unique soil conditions, unique shape, and unique structures that affect this property. The unique soil conditions are the wetland, and those have been found by the courts to be unique soil conditions within the meaning of Chapter 40A, Section 10, and that's unique to this site. These wetlands also affect how the property can be redivided. And it's not an issue here, but a lot of times you see variances for minimum lot size. We're not needing a variance from the minimum lot size requirement. This lot has plenty of land and plenty of upland. It's just divided by the existence of that large wetland that was caused by the backup of the culvert. In addition, the properties are uniquely shaped. If you look back at Exhibit A to the zoning memorandum that we submitted, you'll see that most of the lots in this area are rectangular or square. And these, obviously, when you see them highlighted, are uniquely shaped lots. They're also unique in that they have frontage on 3 roads. They have frontage on Hyannis Road, on Bow Lane where it ends at the north, and on Bow Lane where it ends at the south. And those roads obviously affect the layout of the lots and any redivision of the lots. And finally, there are unique structures on this lot. And this is a not very often used provision of Chapter 48, Section 10, but it is a variance condition. And the unique structure is, of course, the historic homestead and the fact that it's a listed structure with the National Register District as contributing to this district. Because of these unique conditions, a literal enforcement of the zoning ordinance represents a substantial hardship. With reference to the upland requirement, the contiguous upland requirement and lot shape factor, the presence of the wetland on the property causes noncompliance with those standards. And that's a significant hardship, particularly in that this wetland is not caused by my client. It is being caused by this backed up culvert that exists under Route 6A and Hyannis Road. And not granting the relief would cause substantial detriment in that you would have an unlawful lot that would have the historic homestead on it. As it relates to compliance with the setback requirements, again, I would suggest there's significant hardship. Because of the shape of the lot and the presence of the wetland that runs through Lot D, and there's a small culvert on Lot D where a new driveway would drive over the culvert, because of the location of the culvert, it's affected how that lot can be laid out. So the engineer tried to maximize the setback as much as possible, but still allow for a new driveway in the future over Lot D that could drive over the existing culvert that exists on the lot. Obviously, the clients could pick up the barn and move it and comply with the 15-foot setback, but again, I would suggest that also constitutes a substantial hardship, both financially and also in terms of the permitting to move an historic barn structure on this lot. And finally, the third criteria, no detriment, substantial detriment to the neighborhood or public good. I would suggest to you again that this project and properties meets that requirement. I consider these to be minor variances. They aren't minimum lot size variances. They aren't frontage variances. They're relatively de minimis variances that are being requested. These are large lots that are being proposed. They're larger than every other lot except for 3 within the 300-foot abutter radius of this property. And the only 3 lots that are bigger than these lots are located to the east or is one lot that's owned by the town. Every lot that's located to the west, north, and the south of these properties within 300 feet is smaller than these 2 lots are or will be. In addition, at the end of the day, all we're talking here is 1 new residence being constructed.
In conclusion, the Zoning Board of Appeals voted affirmatively on a number of conditions that the owners must adhere to in order to redivide their lots. For Barnstable Today, I'm Len Gobiel.